Guys, I'm sorry. I've made a severe and continuous massive fuck up regarding my viewing habits. Over 2022, I didn't watch as much seasonal anime as usual, and I was even considering not doing an awards show for this year. However, when I look back on the year, there was still something for every category that people care about. However, a word of warning in advance, some of these are fucking stretches. I will warn you, there are way too many sequels on this list compared to previous years, but they will only be for things that are original to this year, so you wouldn't see Best Protagonist or any of the genre awards go to sequels. On top of this, only one award per show. This is a celebration of the whole year, and I don't want to see this get spit roasted by all the big titles. Now that I've put that lovely image in your head, let's get ready to rock and ready to roll. That was a very intentional choice of words. For the award of Best Show I Didn't Watch, Bocce the Rock. Of course, I tend to give this award to the most recent one I missed, because what anime awards aren't complete without recency bias, and it was a toss-up between this and Witch from Mercury. While it would have been nice to get into Gundam at the once-in-a-lifetime moment where I can actually understand what the fuck is going on, Bocce just seemed to have a brighter moment in the sun. I decided against watching it, since I should probably watch K-On! First, but after I do end up watching K-On!, it's going to be great to come back to this one. K-On! Cyber Psychosis Edition. You can probably guess that Best Animation was a toss-up between two things, and the other thing is coming later, don't worry. But because there was nothing really else I could put here, and because I didn't give it Best Animation in 2019, this spot goes to Demon Slayer Season 2. Am I effectively giving this an award just for one fight? Yep. But it was a pretty good fight. UFO Table, Ufotable, however the fuck you say it, are now at the stage where you no longer have to know what fate is to be able to appreciate how buck wild they can get with their fights, and Demon Slayer as a series has never dropped the ball when it comes to animation. I know hating on Kimetsu no Yaiba is the cool thing to do at the moment, and don't get me wrong, I don't go quite as mental for this series as others, but you're having a laugh, you're telling me this doesn't look insanely pretty. But from what's nice to look at to what's nice to listen to, Best Music is going to Made in Abyss Season 2. Now don't worry, I'm not putting it here for the time they used Hanazeve Karadina again, as that was not original to this season. No, Kevin Penkin is back, and he created some new songs, and yep, he's still pretty good at it. We actually have to do some more explanation besides just that. This is a perfect example of how to give a soundtrack a new lease of life, as while the more primal instruments such as xylophones are still there, there's a whole new layer of electronic synth on top of that. No longer is it just the Abyss that the gang has to worry about, it's what became of the other humans down there. Made in Abyss is a show that isn't just grotesque, it can be downright disturbing. But while it can be hard to watch, it's all the easier on the ears, with equal parts wonder and fear being instilled with these wonderful tracks. I really need to find more of an excuse to talk about Made in Abyss, don't I? There came a point during Licorice Recoil when I realised that Chisato was OP. Honestly, she's shown to have no weaknesses, and I never for a second believed that she was in any danger. All of this would make for a really boring character. So why am I putting her as Best Protagonist? It's because she's the absolute essence of a cute girl doing cute things, and that's what the show is about. Whenever she's on screen, she lends an energy to this series that makes it such a joy to watch, because Licorice Recoil is all about taking it back from the serious stuff and learning to have fun, and Chisato is nothing but fun. Technically, in the more traditional definition, Takina is the protagonist of the series, but Chisato had more screen time, and I'm not complaining, because, as I said, I was having fun. Licorice Recoil is all about just enjoying yourself. It is not about how the governments have agents everywhere and will take you out the second we know what we're doing. Absolutely not. It's about this really cute protagonist. You know what cute anime girls love doing? Turning off their VPNs. You should do that right now. We aren't spying on you. Look at this cute anime girl. Isn't she quirky? We aren't in your walls. Look at the cute girl. This is a non-negotiable action. Despite several hype shows coming out this year, somehow the thing I was most excited for was another series of Love Live Nijigasaki. Now, I probably shouldn't have gotten too excited since it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But there were still a few great moments. Indeed, the Best Episode of an Underwhelming Series award is built for shows like this, and I had to give it to Episode 5. By the way, I'm fucking it up here, it's Episode 4, not Episode 5. The reason Nijigasaki really hooked me in the first place was its focus on individual characters, which is what this season trod on. But when grouping up these characters, we got some interesting pairings, namely Ai and Karin. There is an actual conflict in this episode, meaning they are at danger of being driven away from each other, and that's what makes them uniting to form Diva Diva all the more satisfying. It also helps add the best song of the series. Now, I will talk about my opinions on this season in a future video. If I actually get my act together and watch Sunshine, oh boy, you're going to hear quite the rant on this season. I can only apologise in advance for the tedium. I may be slightly cheating on this one, but the award for Best Unwatched Show is going to Akiba Maid Wars. It wasn't obscure necessarily, but considering it shared a season with Borchi, Chainsaw Man and about 5 different sequels, they weren't exactly basking in the limelight, were they? But Akiba Maid Wars is no less deserving of a viewing, since it's clearly having a lot of fun in how committed it is to its shtick. And while some of the characters are a little flat in the first few episodes, they're all fully rounded in time for the finale, which I actually think is a really good ending to this series. This was certainly an experiment that paid off for PA Works, and I think more studios should try experimenting with originals as much as they have. Also, yep, this is another sign from the universe I still haven't fucking played any of the Yakuza games. Damn it. Teppen was a show I actively dropped 5 episodes in. I thought an anime about stand-up comedy would be right up my street, but it didn't keep me infused long enough to consider going the whole way. It wasn't necessarily bad, I just had better things to spend my time with. But the OP kicks ass. It's goofy and catchy at the same time, and the transitions are just way too clean for its own good. They showcase 16 main characters surprisingly well considering that they'd only have less than 10 seconds each, taking averages into account, and somehow we managed to grasp the kind of hijinks we can expect to see in the show. Even without the visuals, this song is damn catchy. So much so, I'm actually tempted to put it as walk-on music when I next do a gig. Fuck, I'm somewhat tempted to finish Teppen now. That's how good this fucking OP is. Now, I was going to put Ousama Ranking for Best ED again this year, but a wee bit of personal bias is making me give the award to Attack on Titan's ED. You see, this harks back to the very first Attack on Titan ED, which is all about finding beauty, even in such a harsh world tainted by violence. And this latest ED is all about restoring that beauty, using violence. The song, which is called Child of Evil, in case you didn't get the point, strikes that perfect balance between victory lap and villain's theme, and cements that Eren has won, just doesn't make it clear whether that's a good thing or not. Now, I don't have to be a film studies student to tell you about the striking use of red in this sequence. No, someone probably does need to be a film student to tell me why I think this looks the crispest of all the Attack on Titan EDs, though that might just be down to the fact they only kept certain colours, the aforementioned red, and of course certain blues and greens, making them much more striking. And even if someone who can't use DaVinci Resolve is gushing about the colour grading, you know they did something right. All of these aspects combine together vividly and tell us one pressing thing. Eren just got a bit too silly, didn't he? Best Sequel was somehow the most packed and least packed slot this year. I haven't watched Kaguya Season 3, so it could have been anyone's game. I even considered putting Standalone Complex 2045 Part 2 in here, but something just didn't feel right about that. Though, to cut a long story short, thank God for Bones making my job easier. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 is the first time an actual conclusion has gotten this award, and it's going to a show that has always been fantastic. All it had to do was leave the characters in a satisfying place and show me some cool shit. And it did. It's really got me to appreciate the wider cast of Mob Psycho 100, and somehow find even more stuff to respect about Mob and Reagan. It's a weird time now that Studio Bones have put another modern classic action series to bed, and I don't know what they're gonna do next. What I'm trying to say is that we need something else for them that isn't My Hero Academia, okay? I'm sure you would have noticed, if you've been watching anime over 2022, that there were 4 shows that people wouldn't shut up about. Now, they were conveniently spread out to 1 per season, and all 4 of them are getting a mention in this video past this point. And now we've come to the first of the big 4, so I'm sure we need no introduction to Spy X Family. Everyone and their mother watched this show before turning to said mother and apologising for not having given them grandchildren. But when I peeled back the aww, I realised that this show is inherently hilarious, and that it absolutely deserves the Best Comedy Award. You've got a complex web of lies, espionage, and the task of preventing all-out war resting on the shoulders of an illiterate 6-year-old with a peanut addiction. But even that base level aside, the animation helps heighten things, and the voice acting, top-notch. It's a rare occasion where all the characters in a show have hearts of gold, but you can still find it in yourself to laugh at their antics. Okay, once again, still haven't seen Kaguya Season 3. The category of Best Drama is in its 4th year of service, and it's historically been the spot where I just cram the stuff where I couldn't think of a better genre to describe it with. And that continues this year as it's going to Call of the Night. I struggle to call it a drama since this feels more like a slice of life. Lives belonging to a really interesting set of characters. Yamori's struggle over whether to abandon their humanity isn't a clear-cut decision, and there's several characters on either side of the debate with their own interesting perspectives on things. This is fascinating to watch, but I'm actually making it sound a lot higher stakes than it really is. The vibes come first, and that strange ethereal sense of freedom that these characters are experiencing has been transplanted perfectly into the audience as well, with music and visuals really creating something surprisingly de-stressing, and I think it's good we all get a chance to relax. Because the fact this next one isn't going to be my anime of the year is going to piss quite a few people off. Chainsaw Man definitely did not disappoint, and while not my anime of the year, I have no trouble putting it down as best action. The blood, blades, and badasses are brought to life by Mappa, and there were several fights that left me spellbound. Mind you, there are several moments outside the fights that did the same for me. Chainsaw Man really has quite a compelling cast, and the chemistry feels gradual but believable. This is an action show, yes, but honestly, I think I could watch it even without the action. Let these characters do anything and it will make for a good watch, but watching them go to town on some demons will never not look good in this show. I can't wait to see this series continue, which is a shame as I probably will have to wait for quite a while on account of Mappa doing, you know, literally everything right now. So you can probably guess what's coming for anime of the year. I've talked about it several times in recent videos, and so I've got to find a different way of talking about it. And don't worry, because I have. I'm using a different musical sting this time. They will find me through the flames, flames that run down through my veins. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is everything I want it to be, and then everything I never thought I wanted it to be as well. Even in a vacuum, this is head and shoulders above the rest, but when you add in the context of its release and how it adapts its source material, it blows your mind with its quality. This could have been a recipe for disaster, but Trigger brought their A-game, and CD Projekt Red brought restraints on ruining that A-game. Jokes aside, Raphael Jackie cooked up a marvelous story, really showing a great understanding of the world of Night City, and like its tabletop and video game adaptations, actually managing to show what that can do to its characters. And then Trigger took that and ran with it so fast they began to see after images of themselves. As I've mentioned, this is now my favourite anime from them, feeling both completely out of left field, but still feeling unmistakably theirs. Bravo to CD Projekt Red and Trigger for pulling this off. A bad feeling that a lot of Western game devs are going to try and cook up their own equivalent to Cyberpunk Edge Runners over the next few years by greenlighting their own anime adaptations. And whenever those comes to fruition, I know we'll all have a good laugh, because you see, Edge Runners is what those won't be, a labour of love. And it's something I don't think anyone's going to be able to top in quite a while. And now we have Best Girl. Think about all the shows I've mentioned, and now, through process of elimination, you can probably guess where this one is going. Marin Kitagawa is a waifu. A waifu who keeps upping the ante throughout only a 12-episode show. Episode 1, we all realised, oh my god, extroverted Gyaru can be cute, what the fuck? Episode 2, we all realised, but the tipping point was episode 6, when the train ride happened, and we all realised, oh my god, she really cares for this guy. They're actually in love. I can't think of a joke, this is just fucking heartwarming. And from there it cycled between those three reactions to the point that I no longer even entertain the idea of putting someone else as best girl. I don't know how they did it, but somehow, the season after motherfucking Komi-san came out, they managed to get us to simp for an extrovert. So well done, Marin, you absolutely deserve the Best Girl award. You're like Nagatoro if she was actually a good waifu. Yeah, I said it.